Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving right into the staggering biodiversity of Zimbabwe's largest nature reserve, Hwange National Park. We're talking numbers that are absolutely off the charts. But more importantly, we're going to explore the massive conservation impacts and the very real, literal logistical challenges of keeping an ecosystem of this monumental scale alive. A lot of times we hear about national parks as just static places you visit on vacation, right? But as you'll see today, preserving a space like Hwange, it is a highly active, incredibly complex operation where every single square kilometer is absolutely crucial to the survival of an entire regional ecosystem. Let's get into it. So let's kick things off with a massive question to really anchor this whole journey. Where in the world can you find 50,000 elephants in one single place? Honestly, it sounds like an exaggeration, like somebody made a typo in a biology textbook. But I promise you, it's a very real statistic from a very complex ecosystem. We're not just talking about a couple of wandering herds here. We are talking about a population density that literally shapes the Earth itself. This question really sets the stage for the awe-inspiring numerical journey we're taking today, looking at what conservation success actually looks like when you scale it up to the size of a small country. And the answer to that giant elephant-sized question is, of course, Hwange National Park. If you're wondering where that is, it's located in western Zimbabwe, sitting right up against the Botswana border, only about 100 kilometers from the world-famous Victoria Falls. Getting this mental map in your head is actually essential for understanding the conservation challenges here. Why? Well, because wildlife absolutely does not care about human borders. An elephant doesn't know it's crossing a political line from Zimbabwe into Botswana. So this specific geography dictates the ancient corridors these animals use for migration. Because of where it sits, cross-border conservation, international diplomacy, and collaborative wildlife management become absolutely vital to protecting the species constantly moving in and out of the park. 14,650. That is the exact number of square kilometers that Hwange covers. Just let the sheer scale of that footprint sink in for a second. We are talking about an unbroken stretch of wilderness roughly the size of the entire state of Connecticut. From a biological standpoint, you literally need this staggering amount of space to support such a wildly diverse range of African flora and fauna. But from a conservation perspective, managing an area this huge is a monumental logistical headache. It requires immense resources, complex anti-poaching patrols that camp out for weeks in the bush, and really intense habitat management. Protecting 14,650 square kilometers means battling remote terrains, shifting climates, and trying to secure perimeters that are, for all intents and purposes, completely invisible. Now, this massive land area isn't just empty space on a map either. As the source text explicitly points out, it plays an incredibly important role in regional ecological conservation. Think of Hwange as this vital biological anchor for southern Africa. Without a protected expanse of this magnitude, the delicate regional ecosystem would just buckle under modern pressures, things like agricultural expansion and human settlement. Hwange acts as this massive sanctuary, making sure critical habitats remain intact. When a park of this size is thriving, it's essentially acting as the lungs and the beating heart for the whole surrounding region, maintaining a level of ecological stability that extends way, way beyond its actual borders. Which brings us right back to our starting number, 50,000. Hwange officially holds one of the largest elephant populations anywhere on the planet. But here's the thing. When we talk about conservation impacts, a population this massive is kind of a double-edged sword. Elephants are what we call ecosystem engineers. They fundamentally alter their environment. They knock down trees, they dig for water, they clear out dense brush. So when you have 50,000 of them doing that all at once, the impact on the landscape is just staggering. The conservation challenge actually shifts. It goes from just protecting the animals from poachers to actively managing the landscape itself so these incredible creatures don't inadvertently destroy the very habitat that keeps them and all the other species alive. But of course, a healthy ecosystem is never just about one species, even one as iconic as the elephant. Hwange is this bustling, heavily interconnected web of predators and prey. We're talking about apex predators, lions, leopards, hyenas stalking the landscape, right alongside massive roaming herds of antelopes and buffalo. This diverse array of mammalian life is the ultimate hallmark of a fiercely protected reserve. The conservation success of one species literally relies on the health of the others. The predators keep the grazing populations in check, which stops overgrazing, which in turn preserves the vegetation for the elephants and the smaller herbivores. It is a perfectly balanced, albeit delicate biological machine. Zooming in a bit from those huge mammals to the incredible avian life, Hwange boasts a remarkably rich bird life, with roughly 400 documented bird species. And that number is so much more than just a fun trivia fact for birdwatchers. In the world of conservation, it's actually a critical metric. Birds are incredibly sensitive to environmental changes, so having a thriving, highly diverse bird population of this size is a major indicator of a healthy, well-conserved ecosystem. Think about it. If water quality drops, or insect populations crash, or if certain trees get overbrowsed by those 50,000 elephants we talked about, the bird numbers are going to plummet first. So keeping that count at 400 means the foundational layers of the ecosystem are doing great. And when you actually consider the sheer variety within those 400 species, ranging all the way from soaring birds of prey down to specialized aquatic waterfowl, you start to realize just how dynamic the physical environment itself has to be. To support both an apex aerial predator that needs wide open skies and a water-dependent bird that needs reeds and fish, conservationists have to protect a wildly diverse landscape. We're talking about securing everything from dense woodlands and arid plains to essential life-giving watering holes. The conservation impact here is really about protecting variety. You aren't just saving one type of habitat, you're safeguarding an entire mosaic of microecosystems that all happen to exist within the park's boundaries. Ultimately, we have to look at Hwange's powerful dual identity. It is undoubtedly a premier ecotourism destination, drawing people from all over the globe who just want to witness its majesty firsthand. But at the exact same time, and perhaps more importantly, it's a critical center for wildlife conservation. And these two identities, they're completely intertwined. Ecotourism brings global awareness, sure, but more crucially, it brings the funding required to support those on-the-ground conservation efforts. Paying for anti-poaching units, wildlife monitors, and maintaining water pumps to sustain those 50,000 elephants and 400 species of birds, yeah, that isn't cheap. Ecotourism provides the economic engine that actually makes this massive conservation impact possible. Which brings us to our final big question. With 14,650 square kilometers of land to manage and a towering population of 50,000 elephants, how do places like Hwange maintain their critical role in regional ecological conservation for the future? The immense scale of the park is undeniably its greatest asset, giving nature the space it needs to thrive, but it's also its greatest logistical hurdle. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to consider the monumental, ongoing effort required every single day to maintain this delicate balance. It takes immense resources, dedication, and a deep understanding of how every single creature, large and small, impacts the whole. Keep learning, keep exploring, and definitely keep asking those big questions.